So the shed's looking kind of empty, and the reason for that, Under Armour sitting right there, took it off. I took it off so I could take the tractor to the dealer and have a repair done. I started this YouTube channel to help other people, and you guys are helping me. The viewer's name is William Savior. I think that's how you pronounce your last name. Anyway, he commented when I put that BX Banded Under Armour under the tractor, he commented that my hydro cooling fan was already broken. And he's absolutely right. When I looked at the footage, he has a good eye and he saw it right there, spinning with no blades on it. So I had to take it to the dealer, and I have the Kubota insurance, which once again, I'm on a Kubota Facebook page, and guys on there talk about, a lot of guys talk about that fan getting damaged, and they said, hey, if you got the insurance, it's covered. So I'll just have to pay the deductible, but that's getting finished. So no tractor again until that gets done, but this is a good time to have the tractor in the shop because, you know, I talk about it a lot here in Northeast Ohio. We're in mud season again. I'm gonna need probably 2 weeks straight of sunshine and dry weather in order to get out to work on my yard, which, let me show you what that looks like. So this right here is the path where the excavator went in, and this is actually the good stuff. Tracks are not too deep here, but you can, oh, can you hear it squish? I think you can hear it squish. Anyway, let's open this gate. There's the aftermath. Yeah, it's very, very squishy through here, and I have ponds of water where the tracks were. Now, this is all going to be manageable with the Kubota, with my tractor. Everything is torn out. You can see there, it's all loose, but I can't get to it until I can safely drive my tractor in here, and I'll just work from the outsides in, nice and easy. So this is another thing that's on the books, to get this cleaned up and fixed up, and I ordered something now that I'll be able to use in May or June when it's really dry. I ordered a King Cutter XB48, I think it is, rototiller, which is going to be so useful in smoothing all of this out, and I'm sure that I'm going to use it for other things. I may put a garden in back here. That's another thing I might be planning on doing. We've got a lot of plans for the summer that, you know, we're just waiting to do. And this is the best time, like I said, to have that Kubota in to get serviced, because I can't work in this with that tractor. It just gets stuck over and over and over again. Now, the point of this video, I want to talk to you guys about when you are working. Everybody uses PPE, you know, using a chainsaw, use a helmet, use chaps, or at least you should be. I had a situation that caught me off guard, and I didn't have the correct first aid available to me, within reach at least, that would have certainly helped, and if it had been worse, maybe could have saved my life. So pretty much the only real first aid kit I have is in my truck. And the reason I have it in my truck is because, you know, you never know where you're going to be with your truck when you're working. And buried down in here, underneath hats and gloves and whatnot, is a little just in case first aid kit. Now this thing really doesn't have much in it. So this first aid kit comes with pretty much basic essentials, some Band-Aids, and it's probably splints for your fingers, you know, compresses, things you need to mainly to stop bleeding. And that's what I want to talk about right now, because what happened to me caught me off guard, and I bled a lot more than I thought I would. Let me show you what happened. So first, there's a backstory to the story. My daughter and my wife and I were out at the mall having a great old time because it was winter, and we just needed something to do to get out of the house, and my daughter was really good that day, so we took her to the store in the mall and we bought her a little stuffed animal, and she was just thrilled. But she doesn't like the tags. She's autistic, and little things like that bother her. Anyway, so she wanted me to cut the tag off, which of course I pull out my pocket knife to cut the tag off. And the lady that was at the desk, I mean, it's just a DeWalt utility knife. Anyway, she freaked out a little bit, and I was like, it's just a utility knife. I cut the tag off. It was no big deal. She just was like, oh, that's a big knife. Anyway, so my wife said, you know, you ought to get a nicer knife. You ought to get a little designer knife to carry around. I get it, I get it. So I ordered a new knife. Now the new knife is tiny and shiny. Nice little knife, a little assist opening there, but this sucker is sharp. So I'm using this knife to cut open a box. And as I drew back across the box, it's really nice and shiny, but it's also kind of slick. It slipped out of my hand. And wouldn't you know it, it fell point down straight into my left foot. Now, I'm gonna put up some pictures, and this is the viewer discretion part. I debated whether I should show this or not, but something this small can do a lot of damage. And it really kind of freaked me out when, well, let me show you the picture. This first picture is when I couldn't get it to stop bleeding. It had already soaked my sock, and I had wiped it off, and that's how fast it was. I mean, I got my camera out and took a picture of it. My wife was in a meeting. I sent her the picture. She works at home, but she was in her office, and I sent her the picture, and she was busy with the meeting, so she didn't see it. So finally, you know, this won't stop bleeding, and it keeps bleeding, it keeps bleeding. I yell, and she came, and she's like, oh my goodness. And I didn't know what to do. Band-Aid wasn't going to stop that bleeding, and I didn't have any first aid close enough that would have been adequate enough to contain that. So what did I do? Well, I got a plastic grocery bag, and I put it over my bare foot, and then I put a sock on over top of that, and then I put a sandal with a Velcro strap on it, really tight over it. And when I went to the clinic, I took off all of that, and this is what my foot looked like when I got to the clinic. So, needless to say, I bled a lot. I bled more than I thought I would with a little tiny pinprick. Not really a pinprick, it was at least an inch deep. I'm surprised it didn't go all the way through, and I'm surprised it didn't hit a bone or cut a tendon or anything like that. I was lucky. But 3 stitches and a tetanus shot later, they sent me home, and it continued to bleed for 3 days through the stitches. It trickled through the stitches, and I had to keep changing the bandage. I must have hit something important in there that just wouldn't stop bleeding. So after all of that, I got a whole bag full of, well, it's got bandages and all kinds of, you know, compress and sponges and stuff that'll keep you from getting infected. I upped my first aid game, and I put it on the main floor of the house. Thinking about trying to have a little supply like this somewhere close, and probably I will put one, not probably, I will definitely put a first aid kit in my shed. Probably with a tourniquet in it. I know it's weird to think about a tourniquet because, like, oh, a tourniquet, my goodness. But if you're bleeding out, if you've cut a main artery and you need a tourniquet, you don't care. You're going to put a tourniquet on. You're going to stop that bleeding. And if you're working with big machinery or chainsaws, stuff that can really hurt you, up your first aid game like I am about to, and like I did. At least something more adequate than a Band-Aid, because a Band-Aid just ain't going to do it sometimes. So anyway, I hope you got a lot out of this. And if 1 or 2 of you out there say, you know what, he's right, and just go on Amazon or go online somewhere or go to the store and get some first aid, then, you know, I feel like I've helped somebody. Just like my viewers helped me, I'm here to help you too. So hopefully you have a very safe and happy spring, and all your projects that you've lined up go well, and we don't have any injuries. But because of the fact that it can happen, and it does happen, we need to be ready for it. So anyway, let's be safe when we're doing stuff, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully have the tractor back soon, and when it's dry enough, I'm going to get to that pile. It's going to be fun to clean up, and all the projects we have lined up this summer, it's going to be a lot to do. So we'll see you next time when I'm doing more stuff.